Hi guys, I'm Kika P, and welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we will have a chance to help Stepn. Finally, they had opened the line for any of us to give suggestions on what we think can help resolve the current crisis that Stepn is officially experiencing. I don't think we need to elaborate one by one what are these crises or problems that Stepn is currently facing. We've been seeing the token prices going down, shoe prices keeps going down day in day out, and that's really disturbing. And as we know, there's a lot of factors that affected this negative effects on the shoe prices and tokens. So as you can see, this was posted on the official Twitter page of Stepn, and it's also posted in the stepnofficial.medium.com, where they put public documentations and articles regarding the Stepn. And if you hadn't read this part, I guess this is best for us to start before we make some comments. So later on this video, I'm going to show you how to fill up the form that they officially posted. I will also share the link below on the description box for any one of you who will care enough to put some suggestions. But be aware, guys, that this is a suggestion form, not a complaint form. So if you have issues with the app, like missing shoes or delayed 2FA problems, delayed shoes coming in or tokens coming out, so this is not part, or this is not the proper form for you to fill up. Again, this will be a form that we can put suggestion in terms of the four major issues that they really wanting some suggestions and help. And for us to fully understand, let's quickly read what they are about to say. On the first part of the article, they tried to give some background of what had happened, history of what had happened, their objective, their goals, what they think, their visions, their expectations, product, value. They explained all of that, as you can see here. But we won't read that anymore. What we want is here. There are four issues that they want us to help. Number one is the cross-realm energy bridge brings about windfall profits and consequently quick exploitation of the BSC realm. So they said when the BNB chain realm only opened for 20 days, the average daily energy consumption per user had reached an astonishing 9 energy per day. This was caused by the popular strategy of one pair of BNB-based plus 8 pairs of Solana-based sneakers. However, under this circumstance, an unfortunate positive spiral appeared. The 8 pairs of Solana-based sneakers are very cheap. With 9 energy, one could very quickly return their principal or ROI. Yet, the market is still pricing the sneakers based on the normal 30-day cycle. Hence, the market price for one pair of BNB-based sneakers is far above the production cost, inevitably FOMO ensues. So they're saying that because of the quick ROI and the big difference of the GST in Binance as compared to the Sol, many people FOMO. And even if the shoes price in the BNB during the time is so expensive, still a lot of people went in. And I think this was been discussed long time ago, and as if you remember in my previous video, I always say before that it's very risky to enter at a really high price. And I also remember Barndog keeps saying that it's really dangerous, and I never encourage everyone to buy these expensive BNB sneakers, although we don't know during the time that something like this will eventually happen before we can even realize it. So just to continue, they said in a nutshell, the cross-server energy bridge has become the catalyst for a FOMO loop in the new realm, causing immensely volatility in the new realm experience. So this is what they're about to say. We still hope that the cross-chain energy bridge can reward people with their contribution from the past realms and help the development of new realms. Nevertheless, we understand we need to ensure that there is a balance and boundary. So I don't know how will they create the balance and boundary, because from the last AMA that they presented, they just said they will not completely scrape or remove the energy sharing between BNB and Solana. I guess the reasoning behind that is if they completely stop the sharing of the energy, all of those who own Solana shoes will eventually sell, and again it will add more to the fuel of the fire, which causes cheaper and going down Solana shoe prices. So I think that's the reason why they will not remove it like 100%. And as I said before, my guess, my wild guess, is maybe they will do half. And I don't know. Depends what will happen along the way. They might completely remove it. So I don't know, or maybe they will do some minting strategy for the BNB chain. So we don't know what they're about to do. So now they said on this form, that's the #1 problem that they write here. The cross realm energy bridge bring about windfall profits and consequently quick exploitation of the BSC realm. So now guys, this is now your chance, my chance to express what do I think needs to be done between the energy sharing that many of us, especially those who are part of the Solana group, to express what you think is better. Do you think it's better to just scrape or remove completely? And you explain why. And guys, when you try to fill up this form, remember the word KISS, KISS. Keep it short and simple. So the shorter and the more direct it is, the better. You don't need to explain why you think like that, but just go to the point, straight to the point, and say, just say, I'll give you an example. Let's say, just say, make or I'll just say remove the energy sharing between Sol and BSC chain 100%, so that the BSC owners will be encouraged to mint in the BSC network and will drive GST demand in BSC. So as simple as that, like 1-2 liners, it's all right. Although I'm not saying that this is what I will write, guys. I'm not saying, it's just an example, because for me, I think I don't want as well to be completely removed, because again, I think it will give more sell pressure on the Solana shoes. Plus, I think 50% is just right, because still there will be demands for the Sol realms, and at the same time they will start building more shoes by organic minting on the BSC network. But again, I'm just giving you an example. So let's proceed to the problem #2. Problem #2 is the pure mint and sell activities hinder the expected experience of the product. So this is about the mint farms, just like what had happened to China. Problem review. In some videos, you would probably have seen the existence of mint factories. So I think they're referring here to the China. Dozens of phones are placed on a table And these accounts just focus on upgrading and minting and ultimately selling the shoes. This was certainly not what our app was intended for. And they're thinking, Stepn is an app that incentivizes people to work out. We hope that all users can get to enjoy the benefits of exercising while earning some money. We do not want Stepn to become solely a financial product where user experience is completely detached from exercising. So I understand the developer's point of um, they made this app to really for people to exercise and at the same time earn. They didn't develop this app purely for minting, selling, and taking profit. So that's what they're trying to say. But obviously, in this case of NFT projects, you cannot avoid people to just mint and profit and mint, flip, and earn, because again, it's a decentralized market NFT, so everyone can just do whatever they want. And that's why I was a bit disappointed when the scroll minting was not yet incorporated on this update. I thought that's the main thing that will be coming in from this update that they just released yesterday. But eventually we were all wrong and we were all shocked with the anti-cheating system that eventually again caused more issues. But not to dwell on that, going back to this problem, yes, I think the minting scroll will help somehow in addressing this issue. But again, if you have other suggestion, you can again go back to this form and fill up this your ideas on problem 2. The pure mint selling activities hindered expected. So what I'll give you again a KISS, keep it short and simple suggestion. I can just say minting scroll should be implemented ASAP and make the scroll available for energy use of 10 before you can get a scroll. So what I'm trying to say here is they should make a user like me use 10 energy before I can get a scroll before I can mint. Why I think that's a good suggestion, so that those who are just wanting to keep minting will not cannot just simply mint and mint and mint every 48 hours and then sell every 48 hours, or it depends how many shoes do they have. Giving them a 10 energy requirement before they can mint means you can also test if that owner of the shoes is also exercising. So that's just an example, guys. I don't know, maybe you have more creative and more feasible ideas. Again, this is just an example. So let's proceed with problem number 3. Problem number 3 is the real cases of dynamic minting cost were not being insufficiently considered. So that's very hard to understand on the on one reading. But to understand more, let's read the problem review. So they're saying when GST was shooting too high, I think they're referring when GST on the Solana was around $9, $9.50. We released the dynamic minting mechanism, which had played a role in stabilizing the token prices effectively. However, when this recent crisis came, we identified 3 problems. So when they say crisis, this is when during the bear market and during the time when China government banned the crypto in their country, eventually causing so much selling in marketplace that eventually led to lower cost of shoes, and then there's a lot of FUD circulated around by negative people in affectedly other people as well. So many people are selling now. So what happens if all are selling? Obviously the token or shoe prices will go down. So that's the crisis that they are referring here. So they said they identified 3 problems when this crisis hits. What's those problems? Number 1, when the price of GST fell rapidly, we lack adjusting drivers to stabilize it. I guess, in my own opinion, there's no way they can do a stabilizing force to combat the downfall of the token, because again, this is the decision of owners. Like, when they decide to sell, they cannot do anything about it. When they fund, the developers cannot do anything about it. Like, I don't know if there's a way. Maybe I'm thinking the only way is put more incentives to buy shoes, right? Maybe that's the only way. But yes, I don't know, because it's a decision of owners to sell. So I don't know how can they stabilize it other than giving events or incentives to buy shoes. So number 2, they said the relationship between GST and GMT prices gets more delicate as they gradually become closer to each other. This requires more detailed plans to respond. So I don't know what they're trying to achieve here. Do they want those 2 token prices to be relatively close to each other in terms of prices, or do they want GST to be always higher than GMT, or vice versa? So I don't know. I don't know what they're trying to achieve here. But all we know before is once all the GMT use cases will be released, I guess eventually we expect GMT may overcome the GST price. So we'll see. We'll see what plans do they intend to do in the future. Number 3, looking back to the BSC realm, when the GST prices was and is still higher than GMT, there is no requirement for more GMT in the mint cost. This caused minting to be unreasonably lucrative and unsustainable. That's pretty true. I remember I saw a lot of B&B shoes that were minted up to 5 times, 6 times. So it's like during the time when the GST price is high, they only use one minting table, which is the GST is greater than 10. So if you calculate during the time, the amount that they mint is still, even if they spent a lot, but since the shoe prices are way more than that, they're really earning a lot in terms of minting. That's the reason why suddenly the FOMOs kick in, and many people still buy, because even though the shoe prices are so high during the time because of this lucrative minting profit and the GST profit. So what did they say? Are thinking GST is what users care about the most, and we know that. Minting is one of the most fundamental mechanisms in Stepn. We expect to reasonably solve the above 3 problems and make the loop between mint GST prices become more healthy. Okay, so I guess the reason why GST is what we all care about as user is obviously that's where we earn, but it's a different story once GMT use cases will be released. So if I were them, they should expedite in releasing all those GMT use cases, so people will have this drive to level up and eventually burn a lot of GST to reach that level 30 stage where eventually they can farm GMT during that time. And I think once many people will farm GMT, the dynamics will switch. Like maybe it will become a 50-50 thing. 50% of users will be farming GMT, and then 50% will still be farming GST. Maybe those who are still farming GST are those who hasn't reached level 30, or they don't have a comfort earning shoes, something like that. So I think a good suggestion for me, if we go back to the form, is Expedite the release of GMT use cases. What else? Create more events for people to get back to leveling shoes, right? Because when we know that when we're leveling shoes, we're burning GST, we're consuming GST from what we had farmed. Okay, so I've seen a lot of good suggestions from Twitter and Discord, and one of those that I remember is like they're saying that the energy should be dependent on the level of the shoes, and they even made some examples of how to calculate that. Like, let's say for example, at level 11, that's the time that you can get one extra energy. At level 20, you get another extra energy. That way, they said the other shoes that are just spare will have an incentive as well, or drive to level up. So again, there's a lot. I've seen a lot of really great suggestions online. I can't remember all of them, but when I think about them, it's like, oh yeah, this is a good idea. So guys, if you're one of them, please fill up this form. Fill up this form, and I guess this is now the time to for us to voice out what we think should be done, and hopefully we're expecting that they will read all of them. And you know, when most of us will have the same suggestions, it means it could be right. It could be right. And then let's go to the fourth problem: the lack of self-adjusting mechanisms of the sneakers and gems and the inflation of these assets. So what's the problem all about? This wasn't a problem when we were in the boom cycle, but the recent crisis has exposed the problem when the cycle is trending downwards. Previously, both the sneakers and the gems had a solely one-way inflationary growth. The lack of recycling, deflationary mechanism of this asset led to accumulation, which in turn blocks the normal economic circulation and causes a decline in user experience. So what they're trying to say here is when Stepn is, you know, becoming more popular and being adopted by consumers or community, they only care about what needs to be done in order for us to increase more, accumulate more shoes, giving incentives like minting, double mint events, but they never forecasted what needs to be done in case there were crises like what's happening now. So they only cared about increasing the shoe size, but when the market becomes the opposite way, when there's a lot of sellers of shoes and tokens, now they don't know that it will lead very drastically like what's happening now. So what they're trying now to say here, our thinking, a good economic design should be a system that can flexibly self-regulate. Although I don't know how will you self-regulate once people sell. I don't really know how they will do that. That is, there should be self-adjustable mechanisms for both asset issuance and asset depreciation depending on the market condition, and this mechanism should be beneficial to the users in both directions. That is, users can extrapolate positive values from either way. We hope to introduce a number of effective, fun, and healthy recycling mechanisms for the sneakers and gems that can be beneficial to both our users and to the product. I just remember now one of the suggestions was to have a timeline for withdrawing or selling shoes. Something like when you reach I think 50 kilometer, then that's the time that you can sell shoes or gems. At 100 kilometer, then you can now sell this and that. So again, guys, there's a lot of very creative and very feasible suggestions that you can suggest. But then again, I don't know how the self-regulate that they're saying here will happen, because again, once people are affected by negativity and FUD, I don't know if those self-regulating will eventually work. I honestly hope it will. And for the last one, they said, for all problems we have stated above, we will announce a solution 5 days later. Wow. In the meantime, we welcome and appreciate your suggestions in the form here. So if you click this hyperlink here, it will also lead you to this form that I just showed you. So they said, thank you for reading this far. We can thank you enough for your participation in Stepn since our inception half year ago. Thank you for all the support, participation, data analysis, and feedback suggestions along the way. We couldn't have gotten to where we have without your contribution, and your support is important to us. So this is the official statement of Stepn. And going back to the form for the number 4, lack of self-adjusting mechanism of sneakers and gems and the inflations of this asset. So an example that you can write here is like the one that I have read. They said, put a restriction to selling of shoes by using the kilometers used in the app. Example, you can sell 1 shoes after your first 100 kilometer, 2 shoes in 200 kilometers. Although again, you know, guys, I'm thinking one suggestion could be good for some, but others will always complain. So I don't think one solution will please everyone. That's the main thing here. So whatever they said that they will put resolution in 5 days. Let's examine it properly and not become so negative straight away. So because again, it's really hard, guys. It's really hard. I don't know how can they really resolve this problem, but then again, since us as a community have an opportunity now to suggest, I guess grab this chance and go for it. Go for it. Remember, keep it short and simple. Kiss, put your email address here, and then submit. Obviously, I will not submit this because this is only a example. So guys, thank you so much for watching again this very long video, but I guess it's very important for us to explain properly what's been happening and how Stepn eventually needing help from us, the community, the users. So thank you so much, guys. Until next time, let's go and walk.